So in this video, we're going to look at some examples of calculating area of a triangle. So recall that our formula is base times height divided by 2. Sometimes you'll see it as 1/2 base times height. So it's like 1/2 times base times height, or base times height divided by 2. Be careful not to divide by 1/2, because we say divide in half, but that actually means we're taking half of something and the times sign means of, or we're dividing it by 2. So this example is your typical looking triangle, but we have 4 numbers here, and so you want to make sure that when you have lots of numbers on a triangle that you choose wisely. So remember, you need the base and the height, and the base and the height always form a right angle when they cross, so that this little square thing here gives you a hint that you need the 2 things that intersect there. So the base is this bottom side, and the height is standing up because the height goes from the base to the topmost point. Think of how you stand when you measure your height. So we have our base and our height. So now we're going to take those 2 things and we're going to multiply them and divide by 2. So we're going to take 11 times 4 and divide by 2. So that's 44 divided by 2. So our final answer is 22 square inches. Notice how we write inches squared even though we say square inches, because this means it's 22 like little tiles. So 22 is the area of this triangle. This triangle is a right triangle. Notice how we have the right angle here in the corner. So that means our base and our height are right there. We do not need the 13 because it is not connected to the right angle. So our area is 12 times 5 divided by 2. 12 times 5 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. And remember that our units are squared. So with this obtuse triangle, there's 2 ways that people often go wrong. And so we want to talk about those common mistakes so that we don't run into them. First off, it's when we're looking for the base. So keep in mind that the actual triangle is where the solid lines are. So the actual triangle goes like this. So the base of the triangle is this 12. You do not need this little dotted piece over here. That is just here to show that when the height comes down and intersects there, it will intersect the base and it will intersect it as a right angle. It is not part of the base, and so you do not have to worry about adding it in. The base of the triangle is the 12. The other place people often go wrong is when they're choosing the height, because it is very tempting, since you have so many numbers here, to choose the 10. But the 10 is not straight up and down. Remember, you want to look at how you stand when you measure your height. You would not stand like this. So that is not your height, because that is not your true length from top to bottom. The height is the 8. It is drawn outside the triangle because of the fact that it doesn't fit inside, but it is still the height. And so when you do the area of this one, you're going to do 12 times 8 and divide by 2. 12 times 8 is 96, divided by 2 is 48. So just be careful not to fall into those 2 traps. The first trap being thinking that you need to add in this part, which you don't, because it's not part of the base. The base is the 12. The second trap is using this 10, but you don't need that because it is not straight up and down like the height, which is 8. So just be careful and choose your numbers wisely.